I'm Lydia. I'm a teacher with Solano Resource Conservation District, and I'm excited to share with you today this model that will represent your local watershed. Today we're going to learn exactly how stormwater pollution moves in your city. Before we get started, I want you to think about this question. Where does the water from rain go once it hits the ground? I want you to observe the different parts that are similar to your own city. We have a neighborhood, a factory, a farm, many roadways, a park where you can go and explore, creeks and streams, and along the edges are high points or hills or mountains that surround your city. When you were looking at this model, did you notice this and wonder, what is that? This represents a storm drain. You have probably seen many storm drains in your neighborhood. Storm drains carry storm water from the street to your local waterway. Have you ever seen anything other than water go down a storm drain? Where do you think those things end up? Let's explore the idea of how stormwater pollution moves through our watershed, and then we'll talk about the ways that you can help protect it. Today we are going to add rainbow sprinkles to represent litter or trash. I often see litter around my school, around the streets of my neighborhood, and I notice it along the streets as well. We are going to use chocolate sprinkles to represent dog waste. Lots of dog waste at the park, so I'm gonna add it there. I also see dog waste on our streets and some cow manure. We are going to use soy sauce to represent motor oil. Motor oil that might drip and leak from my car on my street. Oh no, it's very close to going right down, and it does, the storm drain. I already can see what might happen if it's going down the storm drain and along our streets. Just like in our neighborhoods, we have all of these pollutants on our model. But is that where they are going to stay? Do you think you know where pollution goes and how much it moves? Take a guess. That's right. Wind and rain are powerful enough to move pollutants. I'm using water from this spray bottle to represent rain. Go ahead and write down what you think will happen to the pollutants when it rains. Are you ready? Let's go. What did you notice? Did you notice how all of the pollutants in our city moved through our watershed, down our streets and down the storm drain, carrying pollutants with it through creeks and streams and collecting in the lowest point in this body of water? That everything moved from the high points in our hills and down through our cities all the way to the lowest point. We just explored that a watershed is an area of land where water flows from the highest points to the lowest points. We name our watersheds after the body of water that they flow into. So if you live in Dixon, Rio Vista, or Vacaville, your watershed is the Sacramento River. If you live in Fairfield, Suisun City, the Travis Air Force Base, your watershed is the Suisun Marsh. And if you live in Benicia, your water is flowing directly into the Carquitas Strait. And if you live in Vallejo, can you guess what watershed you live in? That's right, you live in the San Pablo Bay watershed. But here's the thing, our watershed doesn't just stop at our local rivers, marshes, and bays. it continues flowing to the lowest point. Can you guess what that is? You're right, it's the ocean. Think about it. All that litter on our streets or near our schools can all end up going down our storm drain and ending up in our biggest watershed, the ocean. So what can we do about it? We can practice the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. When we reduce our waste, that means that less trash ends up going into our environment. We also want to make sure we pick up our dog waste and it goes in the right place, and everything we're recycling is going into the correct containers. If you are getting your car serviced, that used oil will get recycled. But if you change your oil at home, or a family member changes their oil at home, you can collect it in a jug like this and then take it into a certified collection center to have your used oil recycled, and you can even get cash back. Thank you so much for joining me in showing how stormwater moves through our watershed. And remember that everyone, everywhere lives in a watershed, and it's up to us to protect it.